not.
Slacker. I never liked that movie though.
Oh no, because you don't feel like you're Gen X or something.
No, I fully feel like I'm Gen X. I just don't think I'm that kind of slacker. I don't know, some other.
No, you're your own kind of slacker. Congratulations.
Made my own category, just like the Backpack Show.
Yes. Welcome to the Backpack Show, where we bring you insights into success from unusual places. Thanks for joining us.
The best people here. We have Michelle. We have Chloe.
This is fun. This is one of those days where Chris got one and I got one, and it's a great, big, interesting mix. And by the end of it, you'll have a very good idea of how to apply success insights to your own business, your own life. I get inspired every single day by the people who join us here. And that's not just the guests. That's also the people who join us, the community that we get to serve, who show up in the comments for us all the time, like Michelle and Chloe, who are already here. So thanks.
So good. And if you are here, and especially if it's your first time at Fight Club, you have to fight. I mean, if you're here, we don't know you're here until you say howdy. So if you don't say howdy, you're just lurking. You don't get any credit. You don't get any
kind of like howdy specifically. Anything is
right.
Fine. Yeah.
Any cowboy greeting of your preference would be okay.
Fair. Yes.
Who do we have today? Do we have guests?
Juanito Pascual, who is a composer, a flamenco guitarist, and he is also the co-founder of Signature Tones with David Meerman Scott, the marketing titan. So they do custom branding. Like
this is Juanito.
Yes. So they do sonic branding. So if you think about things like like any small piece of music that you associate with a brand, that's the kind of thing that they do. But Juanito is an amazing, creative, just you have to talk to him. So inspiring.
So what sonic brand was do?
Oh, who the hell cares?
I would always pick. I would say the most famous sonic brand. If I had to guess one, do.
Oh, yes, that's another one. Mm-hmm. Is it Intel inside? And I was thinking of Law and Order.
Oh yeah, Ariel.
That's it. The easiest 2-note song. Can you imagine them pitching that? They're like, "That's not gonna work. That's not even a song. That's not even like notes." And they're like, "It's gonna work."
Some guy got paid for that. That's my favorite thought.
He gets paid every time.
And get this, Hannah and Charlie have come by to talk about notOK. It is an app that is so needed, has been so needed, and your kid maybe doesn't even know about it. A hint, you could use it, but I think we'll have to talk about that.
My kid knows about it now.
Well, that's not okay.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show. I wonder if they only get like 2-star ratings. It's not okay.
What's wrong with you?
The App Store, just like not okay.
Stop it.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know how any of that works. Oh, I want to know what breakfast is too. I'm looking at some backstage there.
All right. That's good. Yeah, that's right. We forgot to mention we can
see you backstage, just so you
we don't hear you, but we do see you. Yeah, we forgot to say that.
Hannah is now not okay. Get that app. Okay.
So why don't you tell me how you found them?
Oh yeah, I didn't even say any of that. So I don't remember. I think it's just cool.
Be a better story than that.
A nice person said something and said, "You got to check this out." And it's like, oh my gosh, exactly this. Whatever it was. Like the minute I saw it, I was like, how come we didn't have that app? You know what? notOK app was at our school. Hide before someone sees you. Like get out before they see you crying or something. Like that. Like notOK app was like get clear of the fallout zone.
I created the I don't give a rat's ass app.
Yeah. See, I was way too. I was super sensitive. I was like, absolute strangers would say to me, "I don't like you much." I'd be like, "Oh, that's probably true."
Oh man.
It wasn't good, but like that's why something like notOK exists, and so we got to do. I did not know that this was this Juanito. I mean, how many do you know? But like,
I met Juanito through David Meerman Scott because I do another interview show for Marketing Profs, and he came on with David to talk about sonic branding, and of course, we focused a lot on the business end of that, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. But I was more like, hey, how do you make a song for a B2B software as a service solution? Like, how does that happen? And it's very interesting, the process he goes through. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So we're going to grab Juanito. What? But first, what? You have a but first?
Well, I wanted to talk about Johnny Cupcakes for a tiny second.
Oh, go.
My St. Patrick's Day Johnny Cupcake shirt.
Yeah, because it's Christmas. You should put on
I'm Irish all the time. I don't know if you know. But I've been working on getting Johnny Cupcakes on the show forever. So We'll see. And he said yes. Hello, Len. Len, award-winning sports fiction author, Len. And Leslie. Okay, now I think we're ready. Said hi to everybody.
Yeah, we'll get Juanito. We do have a quick segment where there's some announcements. So, and by the way, don't leave. There's so much to talk about today. This is a day. I'm just going to say that every episode now. Don't leave. But I'm gonna grab Juanito because I had no idea. And first off, we're gonna talk all flamenco guitar, but I got to get back to sonic branding. Is Intel the fastest, easiest example of sonic branding that everyone knows?
Yeah, that's definitely probably on the top 2 or 3 list. Also, I think a super recognizable one is the NBC.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's the earliest known example, actually.
Wow. How long have you been playing, Juanito?
I have been playing, well, for me, it's an easy thing to track because I had my first formal guitar lesson was on Halloween of 1985. So every Halloween for me is a guitar-versary, and this year was 35.
You know, it's funny.
Wow.
Me too. I started guitar lessons on Halloween, but like 2 years ago.
That's a scary coincidence.
Isn't that funny? Of course,
Sorry.
I'll get back to you in 35 years when I'm good at it.
I started in 1984, but I think it was closer to April because that was my birthday. So, and it was with the music director of the Catholic church I went to at the time. And the first song I begged him to teach me was "Smoking in the Boys' Room," which is hilarious, given I was a Catholic church guy.
Had you asked for a guitar, Juanito? Was it like something you were interested in, or was it a surprise?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I had been intermittently working on it since I was 3. And I'm not exactly sure where I got the idea about guitar in the first place, because none of my immediate family members play any instrument actually, but I had gotten the curiosity and interest in guitar somehow at age 3. Either it was from preschool or from TV, but I wanted to play guitar, gosh darn it, since I was 3, and I used to ask my mom. And it's actually pretty funny to me because one time, maybe when I was like in my 20s, my mom told me, she's like, you used to ask me for lessons, and I just thought, what's there to learn on guitar? You pick up a guitar at a party and play a few chords. Like, why do you need lessons? So, but eventually, I got my first formal lessons when I was 12. I had a friend who showed me some chords before that, here and there. But my first formal lesson was that Halloween when I was in 7th grade when I was 12.
But man, you just picked it up and knew what to do with it.
You could say a pent up demand or something. I mean, I was so eager to play. Like, I played in the back seat on the car ride home from my guitar lesson, and I just have never stopped.
Wow. Your parents like, oh my God, shut up.
No,
it make you a room in the basement.
It's funny you said that, because also one time, I don't know, I was home on a visit probably sometime in my 20s as well, and I said to my mom, because I played, especially in the early days throughout high school, I played a lot of electric guitar also. My first guitar was like this one here, a nylon string guitar, but I quickly also got an electric guitar, which is what I was really, really hungry for at that age. And so I played a lot of electric guitar throughout high school. And one time I said to my mom, I really, really appreciate that you just, you guys never ever told me to turn it down. And she said to me, I swear to God, she said, "You can turn that down?" So I lucked out. She didn't figure that out till I was already out of the house. So yeah, no, my parents were super, supportive. They weren't like, go be a musician or anything like that. I have to say, let's be clear. They were not like, this is a brilliant career path for my child. But they were, my mom, made sure I had lessons and brought me to lessons when I was, of age where I needed a ride, and they came to my recitals. And then when I made more bold moves out of high school, they found a way to support that as well. Apparently it was a journey for my mom especially, but yeah, they came to be very excited and proud and all that good stuff.
So to me, like, and we got to stress for people who maybe showed up a minute and a half late or something like that, you're playing flamenco guitar a lot right now, which but you mentioned having electric back in the day, and of course there's not a lot of super famous electric flamenco guitars, so I got to presume a little bit of rock happened. Rick Charlie asked the question I was going to ask: who your early influences, and like what kind of songs were you out there looking to play? And And what made you finally one day say, I think I'd like to grow my fingernails out? Like,
well, good questions. Thanks for asking. Yeah. So unambiguously, I was a Jimi Hendrix nut, starting from before I got my first guitar. And so it's pretty funny because you talked about, taking to it quickly. Well, I probably pushed the envelope a little. Like in 7th grade, I got my guitar, and within 3 months, I was playing in the school talent show of undoubtedly extraordinarily butchered version of the Jimi Hendrix tune, Voodoo Child, Slight Return. I'm sure it was horrible, but they let us in somehow, me and my friend he goes by Bionic. He's now a really renowned producer himself. And he and I did it bass and I played guitar but Jimi Hendrix was my kind of primary inspiration for the first about 2 years I was playing. And then I segued into, I was also supplementing Jimi Hendrix with Eric Clapton and a little bit of Led Zeppelin. And, but really Jimi, I've noticed over the years, my musical tastes I'm the kind of musician or music lover who gets kind of fixated on one thing at a time. I have friends who are just constantly, back in the day, every tape would be a different tape, but for me, it would be all Jimi Hendrix for like a block of time. And then I got really into the Grateful Dead. And then I segued from that into, I got really into jazz fusion, because the improvisation thing was a thread throughout all of that. Even with Jimi Hendrix, I told my teacher what I liked. He's like, oh, we have to teach you to improvise. So, which turns out that's a facet of flamenco too. I got turned on to flamenco when I was I started to get some exposure here and there accidentally to flamenco when I was in 9th grade around.
Like tripped over it.
Yeah. Flamenco. Just by being around the guitar world, I would hear little bits, fragments and stuff. But then in a very more focused way, when I was 15, I met a kid in Spanish class in high school whose father is a professional flamenco guitarist. And he had been teaching this boy since he was 5. So we became fast friends. He turned out he was a neighbor of mine, but we had just never been friends until that moment. And then we became inseparable, actually. And I started taking some lessons from his dad, who goes by Scott Mateo Davies. And he wanted us to go to Spain. He wanted his son to go to Spain. And then he's like, hey, go with your friend. And so we made that happen in the summer between 11th and 12th grade. So
my parents would have been like, no, you have a backyard, use it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I lucked out.
Can
that
you
was
play some for us? Is it too early in the day?
Well, good question. I don't think it's going to come through very nicely if through this little microphone. I can try.
You will not hear it.
I'll try quickly. If it sounds terrible, let me know.
We will definitely let you know. Very
so
quickly,
what's really cool about this? So when I was talking with you and David Meerman Scott about signature tones, I was like, hey, play a song that sounds like David. And he just like came up with something that did totally sound like
Can you hear it?
Really well.
Wow, I love it.
Thanks.
So how did you hook up with David Meerman Scott? Like, how did this happen, whole business?
Well, good question. It's a long tale that gets routed through the country of Panama. And then back to, was it somewhere in Florida? It was either Florida. Anyhow, I got involved in a rainforest restoration project that in a location in Panama. It's called the Mamoni River Valley Preserve. And I met the organizer, Nathan Gray, of that project back in 2010 when I was in Panama playing at the Panama Jazz Festival. And through that organization, I met somebody named Vern Harnish, who's a very, very well-known entrepreneur and CEO of a company called Scaling Up now, Gazelles, and they've now changed their branding to Scaling Up. So Vern, he's interested in being, he's an important part of that rainforest project, and he brought me into one of his biannual business retreat seminars to play music for, during breaks and stuff.
Right, because
And
those can be boring. They're like, hey,
yeah, exactly.
pick it up.
So in one of the second one I did, David was one of the keynote speakers. He was one of the speakers, presenters, and he talked about in his presentation, as you may know if you've heard him speak or read some of his books, he talked about the Grateful Dead as part of his presentation, and I was very surprised. That was not something I was expecting to hear in that environment. A bunch of business people, and here I am, this flamenco musician, and surrounded by a sea of business people, and last thing I was expecting to hear about was the Grateful Dead, but sure enough,
nobody would look at either of you and be like Grateful Dead, like
yeah,
in that context.
Maybe me, but yeah, not in that context for sure. But yeah, I was a big Deadhead at one point. I actually saw the Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia 17 times. But
Wow.
So me and David, because we were both involved in presenting things for the thing, we were sitting at the same table. So when he came back, I introduced myself and we hit it off and have been friends ever since.
See, but so what you bonded over, not the conference, but opening yourself up and talking about things that you love outside of work. I love
Absolutely.
The first time David told me about what he was thinking about doing with Signature Tones was interesting, because it was in the phase where you probably were still just kind of trying to hash it out and like, could this really be a business? And David is such a grown up, and like he likes to hide stuff close to the vest until he's ready, and he's like such a pro.
He's from Connecticut, It's like
that's all you have to say, really. He puts parentheses around his farts. He's just that guy.
Wonderful. So, you stop talking about him badly.
He's one of my favorites. That's why I can say things. I only say mean things to people I like. If I've said only nice things to you, you should question me. Okay.
You be nice to David. You tell him I said that, Juanito.
So Meerman, as he is romantically called by me, Meerman couldn't not talk about it. He was so excited about this idea. He was like, you got to understand, right? He goes, you've got your podcast. People know that you like the heavy metal, so it's always a heavy metal song. He goes, that's your thing, but like, we're going to go more. And he was like lit up for this. Has it gone the way you wanted it to? Has it like really ran and done it? I mean, I know we're here to talk about flamenco today, but what do you think?
I think, for both of us, this has been an extremely fun kind of a side thing. I mean, neither of us has made it a prime focus. We've certainly spent a good amount of time in together talking about things and presented in multiple locations. And so we've had a nice run so far. Neither of us has made this a full-time endeavor. So considering that, it's been really good. We've had a steady stream of individual products. They're all so different too. It's really cool, different organizations. And
your process is so cool, like your creative process. You sit in on a call, because I've done it. So you did something for Marketing Profs, and I got to be that process. Sent you a few pieces that had nothing to do with how I wanted the final outcome to sound. It was all like, hey, we sort of feel like this feels like us, or I like how mischievous this is, or this is playful like we are. And so you took those and turned it into something completely different and, nothing I had imagined. But when I heard it, I was like, yes. That is
cool. Yeah. It's kind of an alchemical thing or something like that. An alloy. You have to, blend a bunch of different considerations to create something.
We're a big fan of alchemy on this show, Juanito. That's the button. That's like if this was Pee Wee Herman, like
I said the word of the day. Nice.
Did. All right,
cool.
we're booting you backstage because we've got to do things. Stick around. We'll see you soon. Boop. That was awesome.
Temporarily.
We ran a little bit over. So he's backstage now. He's got to hang out with Hannah and Charlie. Like everybody's backstage now. So Larry's cooking up some coffee. Our former guest, Larry Oliver, our voiceover friend, and so cool. Super cool, extra coolest. All right. Listen, if you want shows like this and you want to lure flamenco musicians out of their lair, you need to make a show. You don't think Hannah and Charlie are like, I can't wait to hang out with old people. They come on a show like this, so it's like you got to make it.
Like, what I want to know about rotary phones? Who am I going to ask?
Tell me what you listen to, Grandpa. SteveBrogan.me/StreamYard. You can make your own damn show, and it'll be awesome.
Get your own flamenco guitarist.
Thank you. Hey, authors. Everybody's got a book in them. Maybe Charlie's going to write.
Juanito's got a book in him for sure.
Oh, Juanito could totally write a book.
Yes, and then the audio version and play.
Right.
With it.
Juanito's got an audiobook in him.
So you need a website.
So how are you going to do that? Because it's hard to make websites.
It is not when you use PubSite, pub-site.com. It's super easy to use. It's engineered for authors. So all the bits you need to promote yourself as an author, your appearances, your book, they're all built in to PubSite. It's crazy customizable, easy to use. You could set it up like over your lunch hour. Maybe it takes 90 minutes. So easy, even if you're not technical. And there's a 14-day free trial so you can see for yourself how easy it is. Pub-site.com. And after that, it's just $19.99 a month.
And no one knows who made it. It was completely generated by rebels off a coast somewhere.
No. FSB Associates is the best book publicity firm in the business. In fact, we should have Fazia Burke on this show because they've had amazing success in the and so they know exactly what authors need. And what they were seeing was that clients could not get a good website for less than like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And it's like ridiculous. So they said, okay, this is a service people need. I guess we'll have to figure it out. And they built this amazing thing. And if authors want their website built for them, $499. That's it.
That is inexpensive.
It's crazy. So it was purely a service they wanted to offer for their authors because they saw that it was needed, and it's great. So try it. If I didn't even have a book, like which I don't, I would use it if I needed a website.
Pub-site.com. Listen, you got to understand something too. I was just thinking about this. If anyone ever from StreamYard comes along, they're going to hear our like 30-second read on StreamYard and our like 3.5-minute love fest.
Yeah, but we just looking at us use StreamYard sells StreamYard.
That's right. You're like, oh, I should buy that.
It is the entire setup. People used to ask me to host shows with them, like back in the summer when everybody was launching shows. And I'm like, you don't need me. You just need StreamYard. Like, that's the fact.
I have a tiny couple of announcements. One is that we're putting together a bit of a holiday episode, and that's going to blow your mind. It's going to be so fun, especially if you've been around for a while. We're having so much fun doing it. And I can't tell you who we've already put for little interviews already. Can't tell you dung 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 dung. But you know, it's been some good people. All right. I want to get Hannah and Charlie out here from the notOK app. I've been talking their face off in private chat because
I know that's so cool when you're doing an interview too. Actually,
can't sit still.
Where's that yellow card?
And out comes the yellow card for Brogan, and Gorgone just says, "You're going down, my friend." Kaboom!
Listen, I'll tell you what I did is instead of playing with my beads, which I do every single episode, so I don't touch buttons, I just typed. Well, I listened to Juanito talk to me all about his musical background and just marveled at all of the forks in the road.
I'm going to need Ma and Pa Brogan to weigh in on this. Can you have two conversations at once if one of them is text?
Yes. And I don't think my biological parents actually showed up today. I'm really wondering where they are, but you know.
I don't know.
Somalian pirates have been known to actually prowl Las Vegas.
That's not true, but I'll open it up to other people in the comments and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, Hannah and Charlie.
Some little man with guns is saying to my dad, "Look at me, I'm the captain now." To my dad.
Stop it. No, I can't yellow card you twice in a row, and we have people waiting.
I
won't, but you totally
Hannah and Charlie.
Deserve it.
Oh. Okay. Hi, Hannah and Charlie. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, I haven't gone outside, but I will trust you on that one.
Me neither.
It's too cold.
Too cold in Atlanta. Outside has worse graphics. That's what I like to say. So let's talk about notOK, the app. Whose bad idea was this? And then what happened? Because, like, you know, you're supposed to be teenagers and stuff. Like, one of you is in college, one of you is still in, you know, slogging through high school. You're not supposed to be ambitious enough to make apps that change the world.
You're not supposed to be.
You're not. You're supposed to, like, just eat, you know, Mountain Dew and Takis, right? Like, what are you doing making this?
However, when my brother and I get bored, we often create a bunch of really stupid things that end up having a big impact.
Yeah, we either create like pure chaos or like genius inventions like this.
Yep.
So I'd rather genius inventions than like arson. So
arson gets you 10 to 20, and a nice app gets you some money for college. So
we could do genius arson. That's what I would like. Okay, listen, I have to ask this question first because you're siblings. My brother and I did not get along like this. My brother and I still don't especially get along, not in a bad way now. We just don't talk a lot. But you guys are like pals. Not that you maybe want to admit that, but what the heck? How did that happen?
Quarantine? No,
Why
I'm
do
just
you like
kidding.
each other? It's so weird.
That's an
Weird.
excellent question.
It's like it's scary.
It's like being stuck with your best friend forever.
Yeah, not
Aw.
a coworker that you can't escape. That's like always knows where you are. Yeah.
That's horrible.
You're
Oh,
there for each other. It's a thing. It's beautiful to see. It's so foreign to me. It's like,
but to actually, the best I could hope for would be for my kids to not kill each other. You're actually like collaborating and creating things. You see,
Yeah.
Impressive.
look, I'll give you one real world story from my childhood, and then we're going to talk all about you. But like, imagine this. So my brother is, I think 12 or 13. He's in front. So mom is in front. Mom has just come back from a busy work day. It's mom, my little brother, and me walking down a really narrow hallway in our house for like a year and a half. My little brother turns around, open face, wham, as hard as he can in my face, like a big red welty whack right on my face, and then turns and yells, "Mom, Chris hit me." And my mom leans right over him and points right at me and says, "Don't hit your brother." I was so stunned from that
Just
hit that I couldn't
traumatized by
say
that.
anything. I was
Oh,
like,
Charlie used to do
down
the
the
same
stairs.
things because I warned you what would happen if you didn't move.
You
By not moving, you made your choice, and that was the consequence for your decision.
You yoinked me down the stairs.
That was a consequence for
this
your
is all I wanted.
decision.
This is all I wanted. Now we can talk
Congratulations.
about the app. That's all I wanted to hear. No further questions, Your Honor. All right. So one day you decided that people are, sad and unpleasant or something, or they're not happy.
No.
The world's not great. And you said, I think I need one of these. Talk a little bit about that.
So essentially,
Go.
My story. So essentially, I came up with the idea for the notOK app because I was diagnosed with chronic illness. Wasn't fun. Loki thought I was gonna die for a couple weeks there. It sucked. And I got to a really bad point with my depression and anxiety. And honestly, I attempted to take my own life because I just couldn't handle the pressure of everything. Luckily, my mom saved my life that night. But when she did, it just made me realize how badly I didn't want to hurt her or the rest of my family. And it made me realize that I needed a tool that I could use for my chronic illness and my mental illness.
Can I ask you how old you were when that happened, the attempt?
Yeah, sure. I want to say I was about 15.
15. That's the magic number. I don't know what it is. It's 15 is that magic number, and it's a toughie. Charlie, you're 15 now?
16.
16. Okay. I couldn't remember what age.
He's out of the woods. He's out of the woods.
Yeah, now you'll never have a suicidal thought again. Wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. So you decided, like, after all that, Hannah, you said, "Oh man, here we go. Like, I gotta do something about this." Why an app? And the reason I asked that is because most people think they have an app idea in them, and most people's app idea is awful. So this one's a good app idea. Why?
To be honest, I always had my phone on me, and I didn't want a life alert button because I was like, I'm 15. There's no way I'm gonna let my parents buy. No, I'm 15. I'm not that old. Also, I wanted an excuse to keep my phone so I couldn't get grounded. Not gonna lie. That was totally it.
Necessity is the mother of invention. So what does the app actually do? Like, what can people use it for?
So essentially, the notOK app is a digital panic button that when you press, it sends a text message to your pre-selected up to 5 closest contacts with your current GPS location and directions.
And you've all witnessed Charlie's narrator voice.
Shut up, Hannah.
Which is actually really good.
It is very good. Yeah. Actually, where's Larry Oliver? He could give some voice advice because he's a voice actor.
Voiceover actor Larry Oliver could get you some work, Charlie. So it's a simple app, and I say that in the nicest of ways, not the worst of ways, because we always put feature creep on our apps. Like we suddenly wanted to also order me a pizza, maybe check and see what's on Hulu right now, something like that. The other question I want to ask is the website design. It is such a nerdy question to ask, but the reason I got to that was that there's very little navigation, which I like. Like you don't go all over the site. It's just an app. Get the app or don't get the app. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you have a science and facts tab, and the language of it saying science and facts, it's clearly made by teenagers for teenagers. Was that important to you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was definitely important.
We just wanted it to be accessible, and we wanted to just come across as ourselves. We didn't want to try to be anything that we weren't.
You didn't want to sound square.
Yeah.
Where
What would you have called that tab, Chris?
did you get out of the '57 Chevy to say that one? Or
I don't know. Why don't you'll have to look at the car and tell me, Dad?
I was
So,
just
what
I
would you
was
have
just
called
thinking.
the
I just witnessed a murder.
tab? I want to know.
What would you call that tab? Me?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
Now I have to play a clip for you.
One thing that's true probably in Barbadian culture as well as Chinese culture that I forgot to mention in the pre-show, by the way, is that we honor and respect our elders. We do a lot to make sure that, our parents and our grandparents
I respect you.
And so one of the ways that
Never gets old.
she calls me dad. What can I say? I don't know what I would call that tab, but it probably wouldn't have said science and facts. That's such a great line. Can old people use this, or it doesn't matter anymore after you get a certain age?
Yeah, it's for anyone.
It's for anyone. I mean, let's face it, mental illness doesn't just stop when you become an adult. Unfortunately, I was really hoping for that when I turned 18 last year. I was like, please let it stop. And it didn't. So this app is for everyone.
Yeah. Mental illness. Oh, no age has a monopoly on mental illness. Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Well, there's times everybody's not okay, and I think a lot of people try to think that, well, it's like they think it's never okay to be in any way anything but perfectly happy. I guess our society puts all that pressure on you to look perfect and to seemingly have the perfect life.
Yeah.
This app, you both had something to do with it. You both made it. Charlie's been a coder since age 7.
7. Yeah. What were you doing?
Not that. Not that. I was trying, things with Hot Wheel cars at 7. That's all I had. Like,
I didn't know one kid was doing that. What do you mean?
But Hannah, does this throw that label around with you? Like, do people just think of you as that depression girl? Like, is there that going on in your branding as well, or what do you do about that?
Low key, sometimes people do think of me as the app girl, but once people hear me speak, they realize that I'm a lot more than that most of the time. Yeah.
You need a t-shirt that says, well, I am okay sometimes.
Exactly.
Just so people know.
So this isn't a one and done in my mind. Like, Charlie's got a bunch more app making to do in his life. Hannah, you got a whole big career. I mean, first off, you're in college. What are you going to school for? What do you think you want to be when you grow up? Not to put all the pressure on you, but when you grow up and get old, now what?
I have no idea.
Grow up and get old. Jeez.
When your best years are behind you, what do you wish you had done?
Sleep more.
Sleep.
Right. Sleep is good for your skin.
Yeah. Right now, I'm in college for social entrepreneurship. So I want to do something in that field. I'm competitive, so naturally I love business, but I also want to help people. So thought that was a pretty good major.
I think you two will be collaborating again then.
Please no.
That's what I'm picking up.
No.
One was good enough.
Say that now, Just remember, so ask your parents about this one, but Hart, those sisters, one of them didn't always want to be in that band. I'm just saying, Nancy was putting that off for a while. She ended up in Hart. Ask your mom about it.
Yeah, you don't know the band Heart.
Smile.
You might do something else for a while, but there's going to be more collaborating here between Hannah and Charlie, I think.
Yeah.
I guess.
100%.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of which, so your mom's involved a bit. Your mom's Robin, right?
Yeah.
Your mom's involved in this just a little bit. Is she mostly she has to file the legal documents and that kind of thing? Is that why she's in it? Or how often does she have to play referee? It doesn't seem like much.
Referee.
Pretty
We're actually
often,
pretty self-sufficient, but she still comes and helps a little bit. Shut up, Hannah. Okay, I was trying to seem better than we actually are.
Not on this show, Charlie. Not on this show. We want you to be broken.
Okay, I don't know what taxes are.
Oh, right.
School system failed me. Okay.
Either way, we've been more than our president.
Somebody tell these kids what taxes are.
Did you hear what she said though? Hannah says, but either way, we pay more than our president.
Oof, that's true.
Whoa.
Oh dear.
Fuzzy
Hi,
birthday.
Fuzzy, we were talking about you. We want to get you on the show.
Yeah, you should be a guest now, Fuzz. Yeah. All right, we gotta grab Juanito back, and we're gonna do a little bit of a panel kind of a thing.
Why do you want another real grown up in here? Because I'm not gonna do it. I'm not it.
Yeah.
I just Google things. I'm not grown up.
You do plenty.
You put me in charge.
But no, we have to talk. We have to talk a little bit about Juanito could be the ghost of Christmas future. Could be a thing, right? You weren't making apps at 13. You weren't like at 7 coding. I imagine you were like a music nerd.
Exactly. I don't think apps came around till I was about 35. So, missed the boat on that one.
Well, you have not. I mean, you're still sitting here.
You're still doing it.
Coding. Go work with Charlie. Come up with something. You'll probably fight less than him and Hannah.
There's a challenge with anybody who's younger, because 2 things happen at the same time. One is that everyone wants to give you their advice. And you're like, thanks, old people, but we got this one right now. But the other is that it's easy to throw away certain advice. It's easy to kind of dismiss something that you really wished you knew. So if you were Hannah and Charlie age, Juanito, what do you think you would tell you from the time machine?
Well, I think that what they're doing is extremely, not only impressive, but like that they're way ahead of the game. Like they're, I don't know the details, of course, of your life, Charlie and Hannah, but you've done, I think you're doing well by steering clear of a lot of the wasted time that can happen in your age. There's no reason to just goof off. And, like when I was your age, I was hours a day with my music, and here I am X years later, very glad that I put in that time. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to think in our culture. I think we have the mistake that we think we don't have to know what we're doing till we're in our 20s or whatever. And that can be true. And that works out for some people. But I think that doing what you love from an early age sets you up very well for later in life. So
I can find any episode of the Brady Bunch like that. Like I know which one it is.
That's
one
true.
line, and I know what it is.
Or Gilligan's Island, right? But
yep. I'm just saying it's not totally wasted.
That's
okay.
True.
I think Charlie and Hannah get a vote on what advice do you think older people need to know that they're like totally sleeping on it. What are they not doing that you can do because of who you are and where you are in your space?
Oh, I've got this. What older people? Oh, no, I've got this because you're old now. What older people really need to do, because I've experienced this because I've been working in this field, like with apps and stuff since I was 12. Like legitimately, that's when we started working with the app. What I really want is just to be listened to and taken seriously.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been in the mental health field and the app creating field since I was like 12. Like literally no one has actually taken us seriously.
Oh yeah.
And that's the most insulting thing ever. Like they see
Most
the app and they're like, oh, this is for like children, and they pat us on the head and just like go away.
Yeah.
Like if an 8-year-old discovered the cure for cancer, would you not take it? Would you not?
Probably not.
It? Like
No.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd eat the 8-year-old's cure, but I would definitely put it into some scientific rigor.
I think of the advice from Poltergeist 2, where Taylor said, children have fought wars and built nations. Don't treat them any less than that just because they're young.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with my brother. I think that everyone can learn from each other, but the generations just need to set their pride aside and actually listen. I think our generation needs to set our sarcasm aside and like try to take notes, but the older generations can definitely learn a lot from our generation.
Yeah.
I got to double dip on Charlie and Hannah with another question because I'm just thinking about it. Do you presume ever that you're going to work in a company that you wouldn't align with their social values?
I don't think that's something I can ever do. Personally, for me, I just know myself. I'm too outspoken to do anything like that, I would probably get in trouble for speaking up for my morals and my values if I worked in a company like that. So that's just not anything I could support.
I always think of that because it's a different world. I mean, all these other boxes that you're looking at all have worked for the man at some point, and we're like,
you're gonna have a business together.
Not me.
No, you stuck to your guns the whole way.
You were like, that's not entirely true, is it? You did get into business with David Meerman Scott, and you were like, I'm a musician, and he's like, but this cool business thing, and you're like, okay.
That's I feel like that was still entrepreneurial, a self-made venture. I'm my own boss still.
Meerman's not the man. I mean, God, can you imagine any human alive thinking of him as the man?
I do feel like, so he is a real grown-up, like you were saying. I'm like, oh, David is here now, things will get done. Like, this is great. Yeah,
right.
Some people are real adults.
All right, listen, we got to do 2 more things, and we got to get you out of here because I'm done. I'm finished with the show. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
That's going to be Steve Garfield from stevegarfield.com. Only because I loved his reference to Get Smart, a show that like Robin is too young to know about, Hannah and Charlie's mom. She didn't even watch the show. So
I actually watched that.
you watched it? Oh, you watched the movie.
Yeah,
you watched that like 90s movie.
Yeah.
No, that's not the same thing. Come on.
That's so good. All right, we have one question we ask everybody in the Backpack Show, and I cannot wait to hear today's answers. I have a hunch. I'm working on a hunch. The question is, what goes into your backpack? And the thing is, you imagine that this is crazy times, nothing's certain. We're all doing different stuff. Your backpack can only hold so much, but we need to give something useful to people forward. It can be something metaphorical. Kerry, what's a good example of one of those that's like not a real physical thing?
Fearlessness, vulnerability, pride, empathy. We've had all those, kindness.
Could be
So
something
things like that.
physical too. What would be something physical?
An avocado.
An avocado.
That's it.
All right. So now here's a question to you, and we'll start with Juanito. What goes in your backpack? What one thing should we throw in there for people?
Well, let me just sidestep your question only slightly and say that I've noticed for years that I could live with a car, a guitar, and a cell phone. Those are the 3 things I actually just need to completely live in my life fully, it turns out, apparently. But on the more symbolic level of your question, let me think what one thing goes in the backpack. I think that faith and gratitude will cover many bases in life.
Have faith.
I knew that was coming out.
I had to come out. You say the word faith, and I am George Michael the whole way. A car, a guitar, and a cell phone sounds like a modern Arlo Guthrie song.
Exactly.
It sounds like a good chance to have a
No
good
significant other in that picture, I noticed.
Well, he said, I can live with this.
That's right. But you can have there's a passenger seat and a back seat and all that. So
Well, it's just got interesting, but we've got to get Charlie and Hannah's answer.
All right, Charlie and Hannah, what goes in that backpack, either physical or metaphorical?
I'll let you go first.
An industrial stand mixer. Final answer. Okay. But for the metaphorical sense, what I would put in there is bravery to do what you want to do. Because we wouldn't be here if we didn't have the bravery to step off and just be like, hey, we're actually going to make this app instead of just having this cool idea. What if it goes wrong? We're literally losing nothing. Like, if you have an idea, you have to go after it because you don't know if anyone else will.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Oh, I love that word. Hannah, what you got?
Okay, for physical, just because you said it doesn't necessarily have to be real, genie lamp. Final answer. That's it.
Genie lamp.
That's actually good for like 3 wishes, and then you're stuck with the genie.
True, but you get 3 wishes.
More genies?
I mean, it's better than none, or you could ask for another genie lamp. Because that was never out of the question.
Or wish for more wishes. You just have to wish
More
for
wishes, yeah.
That doesn't work. That's cheating, Juanito. But then can you imagine asking the genie, hey, is it cool? Can you go get a friend?
Look, someone's not up on their someone's not up on their Reddit memes because there's 3 rules, and then they ask for something. They go, never mind, there's 4 rules, and I feel like one of the 3 rules is no extra lamps. Look, Leslie and Michelle are both arguing for an avocado
Because I just like the way you say it, because you say it every day like that.
avocado.
Somebody did say an avocado. Saida Trujillo from Clowns Without Borders.
Yeah, humanitarian clowns.
Yeah.
It's
And
as
she
cool
did
as you can imagine.
an avocado.
I'm not kidding. They like airdrop clowns into war zones, and the clowns come and help the kids while everybody
Not
else is dealing with the work stuff.
Uninvited or whatever. It's more like, hey, our town was just destroyed by like a natural disaster, and everyone's pretty bummed about it. Can you
You send some bottled water and some
help
clowns.
the kids? Yeah.
Complaints
really
about
nice.
I was like, not sure
Just
if
a
I
plane
like
line just floating down from the sky in a balloon, and we're just screaming.
And you know what? Just for that, I'm going to get them to do your graduation, Charlie.
that.
All right,
No,
Imagine having one of those.
graduation. Remember that old
Remember those?
pandemic. All right, look, we got to get out of here. This show has gone off the rails. All right. I can't get over a guitar, a car, and a backpack. A car, a guitar, and a cell phone. I think it's got to be a song. I'll give you a couple weeks. I'll give you a couple weeks for a prototype, Juanito.
Great. I know some musicians I can ask to write a song for us.
It's got a little, I don't know. I can hear it almost a John Mayer-ish kind of thing. Maybe, who knows? But who would totally appreciate the idea? I think just at least in theory would be my grandmother, because she was a flamenco dancer for a small amount of time before her job. Before she went to work at the paper mills, she was a French Canadian flamenco dancer, and she was known for one particular song above all else to dance to.